Hello planty people, welcome back to my channel. My glasses are falling off my face. Um, and welcome back to my channel, and I am Empress and this is Plant Tips with Empress. And today I am going to be doing the first video in a short series that I'm going to do about cutting and propagating this beautiful Coleus. I think that's how it's said, that I am going to be putting in my garden. Now, I don't usually do outdoor plant videos. I usually stick to the indoor plants, but you can keep Coleus as indoor plants as long as they're getting enough sun. And so I figured may as well do this video on my channel anyway, because it is a beautiful plant and I'm going to be taking a whole bunch of cuttings off her to propagate so that I can plant more of her into my garden. So as you can see, she's just one stem from a single branch, and so I want to trim some of these tops off so that instead of planting one root system into the garden bed, I am planting like 5 something. We'll see how many cuttings I can get. Yeah, so I thought I'd show you a little bit on how I will be cutting this in case you're a bit new to propagating and you're not quite sure how to cut a plant to prop. So let's get into it. Alright, so we are here to cut down this beautiful Coleus, which always feels a bit sad, but you know, we got to do what we got to do, right? So I've got some scissors here that, despite appearances, are clean and sharp. They just don't really look it. And I'm going to be cutting this in a few different spots. Now I want to make sure that my cuttings have a nice amount of distance and that I'm also not taking too much off the plant that it's going to damage it later. So there's a little branch here that I'm going to leave on, but I want to take off this main big stem here. So I'm going to cut it here. So that's one piece that I'm taking off, and I'm actually going to cut that again there. So that's one cutting and 2 cuttings. If I really wanted to, I could cut this in the middle here and separate it out again, but I'm not going to. And just for the plant to have a little bit less energy to worry about, I'm cutting off some of these old leaves. So that's 2 cuttings there. And then I'm going to come over here, do the same thing. So in here I'm going to cut there. So that's another cutting. And we're going to come around this side and we're going to do one more, and I'm just going to take it from there. So now this is looking a little bit sad compared to how beautiful and lush it looked before. However, everywhere I've cut off is going to grow back, and it's going to grow back shorter and bushier. And so the next step is going to be putting these into water vessels. So let's move on to that step. Sorry for filming that last part portrait. I kind of forgot what I was doing for a second. Now, like with all cuttings, I'm going to be leaving these to dry out for a few hours. So these Coleus are not that thick, although they are quite thick stems, as in they're quite delicate stems. So I'm not going to be leaving them for too long. However, some plants do need to be left for longer, such as succulents need to be left for a couple of days, and things like that. Whereas some plants like the Coleus, peperomia, begonias, things like that, you only want to leave for a couple of hours at the most. So I'm going to leave these for about an hour or 2, and then I'm going to come back and put them in water. So while those dry, I'm going to plant the pot into my little patch here. So these are my current Coleus in the garden. You can see that they are flowering at the moment, which is interesting because the flowers are nowhere near as exciting as the stunning foliage. They need a bit of a drink too. They're a bit thirsty, as you can see. But they are flowering at the moment, which means they're super happy. Oh, they're so stunning. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So I'm going to plant this new one, probably about where the hose is sitting at the moment, and we'll be right back. Wow, check out the root ball. Someone was very, very ready to get out of their pot and get into a new home. Hopefully that many roots means we'll do really well in the soil. Fingers crossed. And now she's planted and in. Such a beauty. Now to give her a water, and then in a little while we'll come back and I'll be putting the cuttings into some propagation vases. So it's the next night. I didn't get a chance to do this yesterday before I popped it in the water. So I left it for a few hours, and you can see it grew a bit. It formed a bit of a callus on the end there. That's kind of what you want, is you want that end to callus over. If you put a raw end into water propagation, you're going to end up with a higher chance of rot. So now I have them over here in some water jars where the water goes just below the stem line, and I'm expecting to see roots in maybe about a week. I'm hoping. They usually are quite fast, so I'm hoping that in a few days to a week I'll be able to come back with another update to show you about how quickly they propagate, and then I will do a follow-up after that as to when they get planted in the garden. So that is video 1 on propagating a Coleus, which also kind of just applies to propagating a lot of different different plants. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe and do all of those things, etc, etc. And keep an eye out for a follow-up on these Coleus when they grow some roots. So you definitely want to subscribe so that you can see the updates, right? Anyway, keep growing like your plants. Bye!